Losing two fortunes would have crushed the spirit of many men, but not Marland. He tried 3 times to put together new ventures in the oil business, but couldn't get financing. He would drill only one more well during his lifetime, and it was a dry hole. Rather than retreat from the public eye, he considered running for office. The Marland name was still an asset. Marland was well known throughout Oklahoma as a businessman and president of the State Chamber of Commerce. Marland felt that Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal was desperately needed for Oklahoma. He changed parties, and in 1932, E.W. became the first Democrat elected to Congress in Oklahoma's 8th District. While in Washington, he helped pass legislation that reformed the banking and investing practices that had destroyed his company. Marland could have easily been reelected, but felt he could help Oklahoma more as governor. The nation was in crisis, and the state was reeling from devastating blows brought on by the Depression, drought, and dust.
It really catches up with Oklahoma by 1931 when the price of oil starts dropping, would eventually get down to a low of 10 cents a barrel. Price of cotton would go from 25 cents a pound in the mid-20s down to 3 cents a pound. And so the economy had cratered.
Marland was convinced that the New Deal would put people back to work. He promised to use his business experience to make sure that federal funds were spent wisely to help those who needed it most. Marland won the 1934 election by a landslide. On Inauguration Day, Marland unveiled his plans for jobs, tax reform, education, and support to families. Leidy's glamour as First Lady was a brief respite in a dark time for the state. Marland found that being a New Deal governor was a lot harder than giving orders as president of his own company.
How does he lead this rambunctious group called the Oklahoma Legislature that had impeached 3 governors in the last 10 years?
Legislators fought Marland's proposals for jobs, flood control, and highway construction because they called for tax increases. His ideas to make state government more efficient also met with stiff resistance. The legislature finally passed half the funds that Marland sought for emergency aid to unemployed and disabled Oklahomans. Marland was more successful when he didn't need legislative approval. He called together the governors of 9 oil-producing states to form the Interstate Oil Compact Commission. Its purpose? To promote conservation and reduce overproduction. Marland made another bold move during his second year in office.
The Capitol was built and finished in 1918, and some people thought it. They didn't know it at the time, but it sat over a huge oil pool. E.W. Marland, knowing that oil is there, knowing what that means to the state in terms of dollars, to help fight the Great Depression, to put people back to work. So he was a man of action, and he knew his authority, and he would move.
Oklahoma City authorities said that I could not drill these wells, but they granted foreign oil companies permits to drill right up against the state land and take the oil. In order to protect the interests of the state, protect the state land, I declared martial law and ordered out a squad of the National Guard to prevent civil authorities from interfering with our operation. The city attempted to enjoin me in the lower courts, but the Supreme Court upheld my contention. So now everything is okay. The oil is ours. Soldier boys have gone home. Millions of barrels of oil belongs to the state.